And if you don't mind, I'll demonstrate. First off, you start your knees and your hips at the top of the swing, lower part of your body. Arms and hands follow, bringing you into position to hit.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Course Language. Great to have your company as we talk all things golf, all thanks to Callaway. Sam Hargraves, golf commentator, golf tragic, joined as always by the man who played on tour, won on tour, teaches others to do the same. He commentates on the tour as well. Ryan Lynch, hello, buddy.
Hello, Sammy. Mate, so much professional golf on this weekend. Didn't know where to look. There were footy games on. The TV got a good working out this weekend, didn't it?
If the split screen is a feature on the TV, that's what I reckon more people are watching on their iPads, because you can actually have about three things going at once. And I reckon you would have needed them to. You would have needed to this week with all the sport that was happening. Footy's just around the corner as well. There's still some cricket happening with World Cups, and then every one of the golf tournaments that was on offer was box office viewing. So we'll get through all of that and a whole lot more. Given that footy season is starting this week, Lynchy, we thought we would bring to the Course Language members our chat with Mitch Lewis, a Hawthorn star, probably the best footballer golfer that there is currently playing. I think he's got a plus something handicap. You had a quick nine with him at the Callaway Quantum launch, so looking forward to hearing that a little later in the show. But have you been having a hit, mate?
I have, yeah. He is a very good player, Mitch Lewis. Now, you're a Hawks man. I don't want to bring this into footy straight away, but he must be the shining light for the Hawks this year. Really the only positive thing that's going for that club. But no, I have been playing.
Hey?
I had a game.
Kept Zach Merritt, and now you think that it's all coming up roses, do you?
We kept him. No Warple. Mitch Lewis, huge in. No, I've been playing a little bit of golf. I actually played a Pro-Am last week at Heidelberg. The Heidelberg Pro-Am, the golf course was immaculate. Might have to consider taking my name, unstitching my name from my bag the way that I played some of the holes, to be honest. I ended up shooting 2 over par, which was not enough for a check. Proudly, though, my short game was actually in really nice shape. The quality of my good shots was there, but the poor shots were just not at the standard that was acceptable for a professional golfer. So 2 over par, had Jordan Haynes caddying for me, and I had a couple of guys that I played with, absolute ripping blokes, young men, which we're going to talk about very shortly, who had just sort of got into the game, and new members at Heidelberg. So it was a delight to play with those guys. What about yourself, mate?
Yeah, played Thursday comp, and unfortunately the decent form that I had the week before just couldn't carry it over. I'd actually spent a bit of time at the range the day before and was just doing what you'd spoken about. Instead of just trying to hit shots, I was just working on, can I hit cuts here? Can I hit draws there? Working on wedges and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy with how I felt going in, and just couldn't get anything going. And just one of those days, I couldn't hold a putt. Probably had 34, 35 putts. My good shots ended up in bad places. My bad shots ended up in even worse places. And I had 29 points in the end. So it wasn't a great day. So the handicap's gone out. So I was playing off 15 again for the first time with the slope. So 14.4, I think the handicap. So I had me off 15. And that's been a while since I've been that high. So the handicap's heading north, which isn't a good thing. But I
some
feel
potential
like
vouchers on their way.
Yeah, I know. But the good shots, like even I sent you guys a video. We were playing around with the ball tracking app, and I absolutely flushed a pitching wedge, 120 out uphill, emailed 2 greens from that distance, where that would absolutely be the number on any given day. And you'd think, you must have got it thin. No, and you've seen the video. It was flushed. So I don't even know how far I hit any of my clubs anymore. So anyway, look, just wasn't a particularly good day, but it was a lot of fun out there. It was a beautiful day, great company, and Cheltenham was looking sensational given that it had a bit of rain. And yeah, it was beautiful to be out there, and looking forward to getting back there this week for a better day at the office. We've got a ton of stuff that we've got to get through. There's a lot of making news at the moment. There's a lot to get through it around the grounds. But you had a bit of a question on your lips that you wanted to pose to the Course Language membership, and you may have touched on it just a little earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all thanks to Callaway as well, by the way. I used that ball at Heidelberg as well. Obviously the X, and that was a brilliant golf ball, just quietly. So, but having left my shift on Thursday night at Yarra Bend, I finished up close to 9 o'clock. I just couldn't help but look around and just be so energized by the amount of people that were floating about. So there were 15 people on the putting green. Every single bay at 9 p.m. was absolutely chock-a-block. There's people everywhere. The vibe was good. People were smiling. They were laughing. They were chatting. There were balls getting thwacked all over the place. And I just couldn't help but think, geez, this game is in a stronger place than I've ever seen it in my entire life. And look, I haven't been around for a really long time, but I've been involved in golf basically my entire life, or been at a touch point of golf basically my whole life. And it really does feel like there's this groundswell of energized young people that are getting into this game. And I just thought we'd have a bit of a chat about it. Like, I've got some theories as to why I think that it's becoming so popular, but I thought I'd ask you what your feelings were. I mean, you're reasonably new to the game as well, Sam, in terms of your playing, right?
I'm a returnee, so I loved it as a kid. My nan got me into it. She loved golf. She loved Greg Norman, so much so that we buried her with a photo of Greg and Leighton Hewitt. I think I've told that story before. But she's the person that got me into golf, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, and was actually okay as a kid. Just had a natural swing. I was only a little runt, so I couldn't get it out very far, but I just loved it. And then I think little man syndrome kicked in. I was always trying to hit the cover off it. I could never do it. I could never replicate the rounds that I would have with my nan, where I wasn't trying to, because I could out-hit her at about the age of 10. I just couldn't do it when I was with my mates. I used to get angry and frustrated, so I just didn't want to spend time doing it. But I've always loved the sport, and it was in recent years that I came back to it, trying to essentially rediscover a love for a hobby that I once had, and realised that at one point that my only hobby I had in life was actually drinking. If I wasn't working, I was drinking. And just before I met the beautiful Evie, I decided that's probably not a great way to be spending my life. So I thought, well, why don't I combine something with the drinking? No, I said, why don't
You
I
can.
find
This
something?
is the thing.
That's the thing. It's like there's only a couple of sports you can drink and play at the same time. Pool, darts, golf, lawn bowls. I wanted something to replace that, because it just wasn't healthy. And then golf has filled that void, and I attack golf with the same in level of enthusiasm that I used to for going and spending countless hours at the pub. So yeah, I'm returned to it, but I'm just this deep love that I have to it. But for me, I think that golf is cool again. And I think one of the reasons why golf is, it's not because of any one particular golfer. Like, we can trace back the big surge in golf when Tiger was, revolutionized, changed the face of the game in a way that we've never seen before, and maybe never will again. What this is now, though, is a collection of athletes in other sports, I believe, high-profile athletes in other sports who have found their love for golf, and therefore, in the eyes of the people that are fans of them in their particular sport, who follow them on Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media platform, and see them dressed in their best, out playing golf with all the other players at their clubs that they do it with, or in their teams that they do it with. And it's almost been a green light for people that the public think are cool, are doing a thing that they think is cool, and therefore by association then, well, if that's what they do, then that's what we should do. And that filters down into cricket clubs, footy clubs, whatever sport that it is. It's like when all the AFL players started doing recovery in the ocean. You'd see on a Sunday they'd all be there in their budgies, and then standing freezing their ass off in the ocean. It took about a year, and then all of a sudden, anytime you went down to any beach or any body of water up in the country, it was a dam or a river, there's every other suburban country junior club who are all trying to do the same thing. It's a bit of that, and I think that's had a massive impact on the popularity of golf, because people that are popular are playing golf, and therefore that flows down to the people that are fans of those people, if that makes any sense at all. But I think that's been a huge the influencer style of the influencer's influence on golf, I think, is massive.
I think you touched a little bit on what I think has had a huge impact, and Tiger Woods unquestionably had an incredible impact on this sport, and the inclusivity, I think, now is greater than it's ever been in this particular sport. It doesn't matter your color, your race, your gender, your age. It is a game for everybody, and it really feels like golf started to embrace that really strongly over the last 30, 40 years maybe. But certainly in terms of a club level, the rise in popularity really peaked after COVID for mine. because, I was playing all my professional golf prior to COVID, basically. And, you still had Michael Jordan and a lot of footy players, Brendan Goddard, a number of high-profile athletes that were playing the game, playing the sport. I feel like since COVID, people have really turned around and decided, you know what, it's actually important to be outside. It's important to get away from my device. I think people obviously spend a lot more time behind screens, stuck inside, stuck indoors. And as you mentioned, like so often, especially as blokes, once you get to that age where you're not playing team sports at that sort of late 20s, early 30s age, there's not many things that you can do to go and hang out with your mates for 3 or 4 hours without burning any brain cells. So being outside, having inclusive clubs that allow players to get on and spend time without a screen in front of their face, hanging out with their mates, and to do something competitive, I think that bug that bites all of us that play this game really has collectively bitten a lot of people. And from a coaching perspective, I've never seen so many young people coming for first lessons, women coming for first lessons, and partners actually wanting to play golf together. It's just magic. And honestly, the vibe and the energy in the sport feels like, especially in this country, but like looking at it from a long way away, it feels like it in other countries as well. But the vibe around Live Golf Adelaide, the vibe around the Australian Open, people are talking about it. And backing up to that as well, I think Live Golf actually sort of coming in and being a bit of a disruptor in that time as well gave people the green light to say, hey, Lynchy, what the hell's this Live Golf thing? It was all of a sudden, it was in the media. It was in people's face that are only on the spectrum in golf. And I think that had a bit to do with it as well.
The biggest stats are that 41.6% of new members are under 35. So that sort of backs up the points that we're making. The growth in women's golf is up from, I think, 2019 by about 48%. Kaz Lund put a thing up, the boss of the WPGA, in regards to that on her Instagram. So women are now being encouraged and being embraced and are taking to golf in record numbers, which is only good. It's the fastest area in any growth sport. The biggest growth area in any sport is women's participation and women getting involved. And it's a beautiful thing. What Dylan Alcott's doing for people of all abilities, not that there isn't already an all abilities tour, but someone of his profile who we spoke to on the podcast last week, and you can click on that and have a listen to his golfing journey. He's giving a green light and providing inspiration for people to do what he's doing. It's also an aspirational pursuit, Lynchy. So there's a bit of golf is for everyone, and it's why public courses, half private, half public, and then the elite courses, they all play a really important part of golf's broad tapestry. And the broader, the better. There is also an aspirational element to it, whether it's the clothing, whether it's the equipment. If you're trying to get that new quantum driver, or the courses that you might get to play along the way. So you join up and be a member of your club, and all that brings, that sense of community, that sense of belonging, that sense of camaraderie that comes with being a member of a club. Or go and do future golf if you want to go play here, there, and everywhere. I love personally being a member of a club. My family have been fully embraced up there at Cheltenham. As we know, you've had that your whole life. But that aspirational element too of, I got to go play this course or that. So there's a status that comes with it as well. And that's okay as long as it's not elitism. But there is aspirational elements to golf too that I think play a really big part in all of it. And just the fact that golf is a lot like life. Once you spend some time on a golf course, you realise that a round of golf is like a day in your life or a week in your life. And not everything's going to go your way. How do you manage that? You're going to have some great moments. You're going to have some not so great moments. You're going to have, adversity, and how you manage that and what you find out about yourself. I think if you become the best golfer, not in terms of your ability, but the way you manage a game of golf, you can apply that to your life and find that you actually manage your life a whole lot better, and vice versa.
I couldn't agree more. And the aspirational thing that you're talking about as well, and that is the bug that we're talking about, that lifelike bug. The aspirational thing that you talk about as well is that you can play your best golf well into your later years. My great-grandfather we've spoken about had his best round at the age of 92 or 93, shot even par for 9 holes. So, it is truly, you can always get better at this game. And it is the same thing as life, is sometimes the harder you try, the more difficult it is. Sometimes the more you let go of the steering wheel, the the simpler things come. And I couldn't agree more. Look, I think that you hit on something there as well, which probably comes into it a little bit as well. I think the inclusivity and the fashion of everything, like it's not so hoity-toity. You don't have to wear
Travis Matthew
this
there.
and that. Yeah, exactly. Well, you've got great brands like Travis Matthew who are bringing that street feel and that street element to
and they
the
would
golf
say
course.
that they're a lifestyle. They don't say we're a golf brand. We're a lifestyle brand that caters to golfers as well. So yes, there's a heap of golf influence. I mean, even grabbing this one, the old what's this? The Travis Matthew Country Club. Good times, bad decisions. So that's a ripper as well. But that little bit of sense of fun, it's a little bit cheekier, the sense of style that can come with it. And it is what you see with, as I said before, and it was part of one of the things that I said when I spoke to council and in support of Cheltenham getting a new lease, that, in the one day of a round that I played there, and this is what I said to them, there was a wake going on for a 90-year-old member who had sadly passed away, but she wanted the wake to be her last, for the people who she loved the most in this life, to say goodbye to her at the club that she loved so much at Cheltenham. So that was going on in the clubhouse. Two of the guys I was playing with, one is our former captain. I said to him, "What does it mean to you?" And he said, "Well, my wife died 12 years ago. This is my only social outing. I didn't realize I didn't have a social life. This is my this is my life. This is my home." The other guy in his 50s, openly gay man, but came out in the 90s when it was, wasn't easy. Wasn't a very easy thing to do then. It was a lot more difficult than it is now. He said, "This is the place that fully embraced me and didn't care. They just cared about what I was like as a member of this club, and that's all that mattered. So this is home, and this is where I've always felt safe and welcomed, and a place that I belong." And then I look out on the course. It was a day off school, and instead of young guys being out causing trouble or, acting the fool. Geez, I sounded old when I said that, didn't I? Yuddy whippersnappers,
you wore it well.
Shenanigans and ballyhoo. Instead of just being, roaming the streets or whatever, they were all dressed in their best, out on the course, playing Thursday comp, cheering each other on, repairing their divots, caring about the course, taking pride in their appearance, their performance, the course, the club, and all that kind of stuff. And again, that to me is the influence of seeing, whether it be like a Nick Dacos heading out on course or Glenn Maxwell. Steph Curry loves his golf. LeBron James is getting into his golf now. Michael Jordan was always into his golf. I think that the people that they aspire and look up to love golf, and therefore they then find that they do as well. It's got a great flow-on effect.
I think, as you mentioned as well, just there to put a bow on, I guess my opinion is that being outside and being surrounded by beautifully manicured grassed areas, it's harder and harder to find now. Couple that with a little bit of competitiveness and something that you're never going to be able to master, and something that's quite difficult to do, that takes time to improve. Well, it's just a recipe for, a lifelong love affair. So I'm just stoked with where golf is at the moment. I really feel proud to be involved in this industry. And I've never loved the sport more myself than I do right now. And I just wanted to shout that out. I was just walking away from work the other night and just had a little moment and thought, geez, golf's in a good place. And I just know how many good things can come from this game. The great people I've met, the incredible opportunities I've been given, the amount of time that you can spend with people. We probably don't appreciate it at the time until we start to get a little bit older ourselves as well. But the wisdom that you can glean from spending 4 hours with someone significantly your senior and the perspective that they can pass on to you is just something else. And there's just not many things that you can do in this life that you can tie your grandfather, yourself, and your child to one outing and all have a great time. And it's just how good is it,
No, mate, I'm about to start to well up, but you're 100% right. It's my most beautiful moments with my son. They're up at our, we get to do that most Fridays when we can. We've gone out, my dad, Charlie, and I, and can't wait to take Alfie there as well. Young men especially need to spend time with older men who aren't maybe their father or their grandfathers, and what you pick up, you're right, and what you learn from that kind of, not even mentoring, but just that experience, to play with someone of that experience. And it's not just about the golf, it's about the life and what that can help you with and teach you. So that is all really good things. And I also think that the broadcast of the sport are getting better and better. as well. So the way in which the sport is highlighted at the highest level has probably never been better. And we're lucky enough to be involved in that side of it as well. But I will say that I've been commentating sport for over 10 years, and I've got better relationships with athletes in the sports that I've commentated them in through golf than I have with actually commentating their sports, because that's what golf does. It brings people together. Yes, there's abilities, but you're not. The fact that a handicap means that I can go out and play with a pro and someone who's got a far bigger handicap than I have, and we all just meet in the middle and we can all get around and you can all be in that together. There's not many other sports. Like, you can't go and play footy with an AFL player, can you?
We
you can go and play golf with a
not
pro.
long ago.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And I think that you hit on it there as well, is that you're not playing against necessarily the people in your group. Often you're playing against yourself and the course. So, that's exactly right. Look, we could talk about this forever and a day, but how lucky we are to be involved in this sport. And I just, little moment of gratitude to kick us off today, Sammy. I thought we'd start there.
I like it. A bit making news. I wanted to bring something to your attention too. We had a lot to say in the lead up to and after the Ryder Cup. It was maybe the most memorable edition for a lot of reasons of the Ryder Cup, which is saying something. It's probably golf's pinnacle, I think. Even I would have it on par, if not above, the majors for me.
Interesting. That's a big take.
I think look, the majors will be everybody's ultimate pursuit as a professional golfer, but the idea of the team, I grew up on team sports. So when you get the greatest players in the world together in a team atmosphere and they're going against each other, to me, I just think that is this, because you can have someone be a runaway winner and win a major out of the blue, and which is wonderful and it's amazing, but there's no better golf played, I don't think, by a collection of golfers than there is played at the Ryder Cup.
It's
like
captivating.
A state of origin game. It's like an international in any sport. It is the cream of the cream of the cream of the crop. Anyway, so Tiger Woods has been given essentially a deadline. This is a report that has come through.
Given the opportunity to
the AP
captain.
reporting that Tiger Woods has been given a soft deadline prior to the Masters to decide whether he would like to captain the US Ryder Cup team in 2027 at Adare Manor, with sources telling Doug Ferguson that Woods is currently the only candidate. Now, he's captained President's Cup, as we know. The Ryder Cup is always an interesting one, though, with Tiger Lynchy, given that it is his kryptonite. It was his kryptonite. 13, 21 and 3, the record for maybe the greatest player of all time, depends who you ask.
Yeah.
So it's a huge story.
It is a huge story. And these sorts of things I find very fascinating as he gets beyond probably his playing days. He's going to obviously play some seniors events this year, presumably, and we just hope and pray that his body somehow bounces back to the point where he's able to compete in a major at some stage, maybe an Open Championship, or be somewhat involved on a Sunday at the Masters again. But more than likely, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But it's an interesting one. It's been a very prickly relationship that Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson kind of had with the Ryder Cup. And I think this goes into the deeper conversation that we had last year, and potentially even highlights the reason that the US is just so far behind the European team as a collective group. If Tiger Woods is the only person they're talking to right now, and Adare Manor's less than 18 months away, then that's the problem within itself. Like, you don't have a serious organization running this and putting together a team that is going to be prepared and ready to go for what will be one of the biggest Ryder Cups in living memory. Do I think Tiger Woods could be a great captain? Yes, I do. Do I think you're throwing, a pretty difficult question at one of the all-time greats to go and, pick up this team from now until an away Ryder Cup that is going to be absolutely hectic in Ireland next year? I think you're throwing him in the deep end a little bit. I think it's a pretty harsh thing to be asking one of the greats of the game to take on, given that we probably outvalue the role of the captain potentially. Like, you're valued on whether or not the team wins or whether the team loses, and you're judged based on result alone.
But also
I think if
strategy.
you're Tiger
I mean, they
Woods,
are judged on strategy, the matchups, the approach. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
the criticism of Keegan was around all those things.
yeah, particularly though, typically in hindsight, do they recognise what teams and all that sort of stuff as well? Because depending on how the match goes, but you're right. Look, Keegan was the wrong person to ask to be captain last year as well. You've got a guy who's playing full time. We spoke about this so often, and we can revisit that stuff. But I think that if you're going to offer Tiger Woods the captaincy role and he wants to do it, I think you give him a two Ryder Cup role where he can live and breathe it a little bit. You can give him the crack at Adare Manor and an away Ryder Cup, and then you say next year or next home Ryder Cup, you've got it as well, mate. So you've got a chance to be able to go back to back if you want, but we're going to give you all the leg rope. We're going to give you all the run. We're going to give you all the stats. We're going to give you everything that could make this team great, and you're going to run with it for the next couple of years because, I think you're setting him up to fail for a Ryder Cup that is on foreign soil. Although they may be without John Rahm the way things are going. So, look, the US side is going to be very strong.
Yeah, it will. But is this what I don't know? I'm trying to figure out. So on first glance, you go, well, of course Tiger Woods should be captain. But then you're thinking, well, why hasn't he been? And then you're asking, and then I'm asking, well, so is this a cure-all? Do you think? Like, what? I just want to know so much more about what is the motivation behind this, because it's real. Some people will just say, Sam, it's as simple as this: it's Tiger Woods, so he's just going to be okay, sure, but these guys are all pretty good golfers in their own right. So is he the extra piece of motivation that they need? Is he going to be the person that may help unlock the inability of Team USA to score together? Because you go back and look at Ryder Cup histories where the Europeans dominate in the pairs and in the team element of it. It's in the singles where America have their way. So what's he going to do in that space? Like, what is Tiger going to, just by being there alone, is that going to make the difference in their ability to work together? Or, so I'm trying to figure out, is it just a publicity stunt? Is it just, but then there'll be people that laugh at all this and go, Sam, it's Tiger Woods. It doesn't matter. But I think it does.
A lot of it is potentially a publicity stunt. I mean, the PGA of America own part of the Ryder Cup along with the European Tour, and anytime you can get it in the headlines and sell some tickets, that's what their main objective seems to be. So time will tell. I'll be fascinated to follow the story.
The other one I wanted to throw at you, and it might be one that we can flesh out over a couple of weeks, is AFL season's about to start, and we're big footy fans. I'm lucky enough to call the game as well. I see that John Daly's son, John Daly II, is going to make his PGA debut at the Puerto Rico Open. So he's always played with John at what's the event where all the father-daughters, the father-sons, and all the family members all sort of play together?
The PNC Championship. Yeah.
That's the one. And we see Tiger play with Charlie, and Charlie's doing the college thing at the moment and killing it. It did get me thinking, given one of the greatest aspects of Aussie rules football is father-son and now father-daughter, and one day it'll be mother-daughter. It is one of those beautiful parts and unique and treasured parts, unless you're the St Kilda Football Club, of our great game, our Indigenous game here in Aussie rules football. So over the history of golf, have there been many great father-sons, father-daughters, mother-sons, mother-daughters?
Look, there have. We actually mentioned one of them last week, one of our own, the Goggins, Matt Goggin, and his mother.
That's right.
Lindsay, I believe it is. Excuse me. I think it's Lindsay Goggin. So there's been many. I mean, the famous Jack and Gary Nicholas, father son.
That's right.
You got Jay Haas, Bill Haas, Kevin Stadler. Craig Stadler, the walrus and the baby walrus. It is littered.
Tom Morris Sr., Tom Morris Jr., way back in the inception of the game.
We have got a lot of them over the time, but it's very hard to live up to the expectations. And look, this is kind of goes back to what we were talking about off the top. Like most fathers who's play at the professional level, their sons definitely play. I mean, I heard an interview that Stuart Sink.
Ryan Lynch.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Look, I heard Stuart Sink talking about his son caddying, one of his sons caddying for him in the last year of his US tour. I mean, he's still playing on the US tour, but he had a victory with his son on the bag. And Look, there are many of them scattered throughout. I think that it is a special combination. It'll be interesting to see how Charlie Woods goes as he keeps coming up and keeps improving his game. But John Daly's son, I mean, he's earned this. He's a very good player in his own right, and I'll be fascinated to see him compete at the Puerto Rico Open. They've had a long history of giving top amateurs invites into the Puerto Rico Open, and John Daly II will be joined by 17-year-old Evan Penner as well, who will be playing his own home Open again. He's been playing it since the age of 15. So I love that aspect of it. Again, sort of bleeds into what we were talking about before, but I love this is what you use invites for, albeit I'm not a huge fan of invites, but this is what you use invites for. Give these young kids a crack at this level.
Yeah, I love it as well, but it's just amazing that I think old Tom Morris and young Tom Morris back in the late 1800s both won, I think, 4 Open championships. I don't think there's been a father-son as successful as those two since. So, I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? I wonder, too, whether it's look, without getting into the psychology of it all, but you reckon that a lot of the best players, their sons or daughters go on to play. I wonder what it is that means that very few of them reach the same heights. There's got to be something to that. And you don't see it with tennis players either. I mean, I think, Peter Korda's daughter, Nelly, is one of the best the world, inside the top few women's golfers in the world, former world number one. That's a different sport though. So it's it just hit. When I saw that story, I thought, why is there not more? Why are there not more like father-son, father-daughter, mother-son, mother-daughter combos in golf? So if you know of any, and if we've missed any out, at Course Language Pod or Course Language Podcast at gmail.com. Should we get around the grounds, Lynchy?
We'll get around the grounds. Last final thought on that would be that, like, compared to the AFL, where you've got 700 players in Australia, if you make the top 700 in the world, you don't get recognised very regularly in golf, and I know that for a fact. You know, that's as a personal.
What was your highest ranking?
I need to look it up. It was inside the top 700 off the top of my head, 660 something, I believe. But you know, you don't get noticed if you're not in the top 100 in the world. So I would say that a lot of elite pros' sons have got to, and daughters have got to that sort of level, but they're fine margins at the top of the game. So let's get around the grounds, mate.
Daniel Hillier, your champion.
Well, could there be a better week, maybe, or a better period of time in the world of Daniel Hillier? Just amazing. Just recently married. We were going to get him on the show, but we were told he's off on his honeymoon at the moment. It's been a pretty long drought, Lynchy, for a Kiwi to win the New Zealand Open, but that's exactly what Daniel Hillier was able to do.
Yeah, I mean, we've been singing the praises of this young man for the entire time that we've been recording this podcast. I mean, he just seems to be there every single week, and then realistically comes back. I mean, his wedding was last week. I think he said in his interview on the post round after making the final putt that this is the second best day of my life behind my wedding day last week. So certainly the best week of his life, as he said. And I found it really interesting that he was out there all day talking about trying not to get ahead of himself, trying not to think about the outcome, because to win your home Open truly is a major. And I don't say that lightly. This will mean to him as much as any other victory in his entire life. It'll sit right alongside a major championship if he is good enough to end up finding the line one day at one of those 4 great events. I mean, Jeff Ogilvy's spoken about this before in the past, that the Australian Open just sort of sits at that next level. The pride that comes with winning your home Open championship is just something of that next level, and he really did it in style. Geez, he was impressive from tee to green all day, and it can be a little bit difficult. I mean, Curtis Luck was playing in the same group as him. It can be really difficult at times when someone's struggling as much as what Curtis was in that final round to keep your composure and keep your head on, and obviously your boy was nipping at his heels and came very close, Lucas Herbert.
Yeah, he did. He stormed home, and by virtue of the fact that Daniel Hillier will already be teeing it up at the Open, then in great news for Herbie, and that was the reason why he headed over to New Zealand, and he spoke about that in the press conference beforehand, that obviously it's a great tournament with a whole lot of prestige to it. It's a great part of the world to play golf in. It's on a lot of people's bucket list. Millbrook, I mean, what a course that is, the resort there, one of its finest. But that spot up for grabs at the Open, which he now gets, well, that's just everything. And that's what these guys that have gone to play live have had to do now. And the world and the majors, to their credit, have provided so many more avenues in because of those live players going off to live and not being able to get there the way they would normally in the world rankings, being top 50 in the world rankings or whatever they need to be. So, yeah, congratulations to Herbie, because it's a pretty phenomenal performance that he was able to put on. But it was a feel-good performance for Daniel Hillier, and he's run home on day 3. Lynchy was absolutely extraordinary. He went birdie, birdie, par, eagle, birdie to finish and seize the outright lead, and he never gave it back.
No, it was spectacular performance, and as you said, Lucas Herbert threw everything but the kitchen sink at him down the stretch. He hit a brilliant putt for eagle on 17 that wasn't able to drop, and just eyeing it from all the way down the pin, down 18, and had to try to chip one in to put some pressure on Hillier. Made a great attempt at it, but in the end, Hillier just too strong, and off to his honeymoon, and the reigning New Zealand Open champion. It's a remarkable story, and we look forward to following him for the rest of the year. It's nice to get a win as well. Nice to get that monkey off your back and put your name on a trophy, because he's been there about so many times. It's just nice to get your name on some hardware early on in the season.
Yeah, we've been pretty keen on him throughout the run home in the DP last year, and that's just another great performance, and he just keeps going from strength to strength. And how did our tips go, by the way? Because I'm going to give you and I a mulligan straight off the bat with this. We did our tips last week in maybe a little bit of a rush. We didn't remember the fact that Lucas Herbert and Daniel Hillier were both going back to play that event, because I guarantee you that both of those would have been in our selections if we had have remembered that. Which is easy to say after the fact.
I hand up scrolled past them, to be honest, to give my man who ended up missing the cut, unfortunately, in Mav Ancliffe. But no, incredible playing, and a brilliant tournament. Been fortunate enough to play the New Zealand Open myself, and it is a spectacular place to go and play golf, Queenstown, New Zealand. So if you've ever had the itch to get over there, I can recommend it. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. And Millbrook's gone through some changes over the last few years, and it is spectacular. So certainly worthwhile getting over.
My selection was Declan O'Donovan, who was actually going okay. Was able to make the cut, and I think finished in a tie for 27th in the end at 8 under. So solid performance from our man Declan O'Donovan, who we're buying shares in.
Well done to Kerry Mountcastle as well, who finished tied for 3rd, and winner of the Gippsland Super 6 on the PGA Tour of Australasia already. He will shoot right up that order of merit.
Agathe at 16 under was the winner of the New South Wales Open in the end, the Ford New South Wales Open Lynchy, which I had the pleasure of broadcasting over the final 2 days at Wollongong, hosting for the 2nd year in a row. Aussies haven't had a win there since Sarah O in 2010. There's only 2 Australians that have actually ever won it. Agathe becomes the second French woman to win the Ford New South Wales Open. But the way she was able to do it, it was all under the radar, Lynchy. The story's going into the final day with the fact that Hannah Reeves had gone 5 under through the back 9 on day 3. She was my selection coming in after winning 3 in a row of the qualifiers. She didn't actually go to Q School to get status. She's played her way into tournaments this year. She's sort of backed herself to be able to get the wins where she's needed to get the starts that she's needed to. And that's exactly what she did here. And she was equal leader with Kelsey Bennett after day 1, fell away a little bit. And by the way, it rained out on day 1. For 2 days in a row, some players played 2 rounds in a row. It was just extraordinary, the work that the organisers, the course, the players, and everybody did to band together to get the tournament done. 75 mil of rain over 2 days. So just congratulations to everyone on that front. Agathe played 2 rounds on 1 day herself. She just flew under the radar because it was all about Hannah Reeves and Kelsey Bennett in that final group, which she was playing with. And then the story that emerged was young 17-year-old Soo Min Oh, who was the amateur from South Korea, who was ranked around 11th in the world in the amateur rankings, who won the Singapore Open a couple of years ago. She just started to light it up, 8 birdies in 11 holes, and it just looked like she was going to run away with it in the end. An almost albatross for Agat on 13, the par 5, which he tapped in for eagle. We thought that was the highlight, but you'll hear from her that it was actually the putt on 17, long-range birdie putt that you saw, got her in a share of the lead. No bogeys 18, and Agat held her nerve and to hold the putt that she needed to make par and to hold the Jan Stevenson trophy. And great to see Jan was there to present it too, which was pretty special.
Yeah, brilliant. It was a great call from you as well. Enjoyed watching that back nine. There was some spectacular golf played. Yeah, real shame. Hannah Reeves just didn't have her best, nor did Kelsey Bennett. I mean, Hannah Reeves, one of the only over par rounds for the day, certainly for anyone inside the top 50, but I'm sure she'll bounce back. And poor Sue Minot flying that green up 18 at just in a no-go zone and wasn't able to make it up and down. But
no,
great call and a very worthy champion.
And just a shout out to Kelsey Bennett, because 7 top 10s last year in her first season on the LET. She's 170th in the world. That ranking will improve. She was just outside the top 10 at the Saudi Invitational at the start of the season. She's had another top 10 here. Just continues to go from strength to strength. Yeah. And she's box office too. When she gets on a run, she's as fun to watch as any player. She's great to broadcast. She's great on the broadcast. She gives a lot. She's really entertaining. And Hannah Reeves has just got ice in her veins, mate. She is going to be an out-and-out star. She's a fighter. Doesn't do a lot wrong, which was really, really impressive as a player who's in her first year as a professional. So they were just a couple of good stories. And Amelia Harris was top 10 too. Remember, I told you about her last week.
You did. Curious that she didn't go to Q School. I'd be interested to find out a little bit more about that. But
well, she gets to start next week now at the Women's Classic. So looking forward to doing that one this week as well. It was a great week for Aussie women because Hannah Green's held off Minjee Lee. It's her 7th, I think, LPGA win. It's the second time she's won the HSBC World Championship. And she did it in really strong fashion.
Yeah, she did. I watched the back nine of this one as well. She was spectacular. Incredible tee to green all week. She hit 80% of her greens for the week, Hannah Green. So ball striking was truly on. Did everything she needed to do down the stretch. Was really smart. Minjee Lee was in that final group. She put a little bit of pressure on with a few holes to go, but ultimately Hannah Green was just too strong in what is a huge event on the LPGA Tour, a very big prize purse, so gets her year off to a perfect start. Minjee Lee ended up making a great up and down on 18 to remain in a tie for third. So we're looking forward to watching our Aussies tackle the majors again this year. We saw everyone dance out onto the green and spray Hannah with all the champagne. So it was a fantastic scene and a perfect way for the Aussies to kick off their year. Jared Felton was on her bag as well. Her husband didn't get into the New Zealand Open this week. So probably not a bad... if you can't play the New Zealand Open, you might as well caddy for your wife as she goes on to win an LPGA Tour event. So spectacular fashion. It was great.
And what on earth happened? Yeah, congratulations, Hannah Reeves. Hannah Green, sorry. As good a player as she is as a person, if you spend any time with her, she's just a star. We're always rapt when our Aussies do so well. And there was a great thing that I think that the PGA Tour or Golf Australia might have put up, the whiteboard where it said weeks without a win. I think it'd been 23 weeks. It got rubbed off today, and it's 0 weeks without an Aussie win on tours.
I spoke to both Minjee Lee and Hannah Green at the WebEx Player Series Perth this year, and they were both very excited about the year. And obviously, they give all the time in the world to when they do come back, and they're happy to chat anytime. So spectacular people. You're exactly right.
And it is the biggest month on the Australian calendar for women's golf in this country, because $600,000 New South Wales Open, $600,000 Women's Classic, Australian Open, Oz WPGA, all co-sanctioned with the LET. Our best players are going to be coming back for the two big uns. It's a really special time in Australia for women's golf, so hopefully everyone gets around it, and we'll be making sure we bring it to you as best that we can as well. What on earth happened to Shane Lowry, please?
Oh, God, it was hard to watch.
The bear trap.
The bear trap. He was certainly caught in it. Unfortunately, Shane Lowry, one of my favourites to watch play golf. Unfortunately, he said in his post-round interview that he just went for a little too much on 16 with his 3-iron, which is a brutal hole. He had a 3-shot lead with 3 to play and dumped one in the water on 16 right, just a little quick on it, and had to drop it way back. Ended up making an incredible up and down for double bogey on 16, while Nico Echeverria flared one a little bit on 17, praying for it to stay dry, and ends up carrying the lip of the green, and he was able to roll that birdie in on 17 to tie Shane Lowry after he'd made a great double bogey. So all of a sudden, he had a 3-shot lead. It was down to nothing as he was standing on the difficult 17th hole on the bear trap at PGA National, and Shane Lowry, unfortunately, again, just really got ahead of it and just sent it miles into the water. It was a really poor shot by his standards, and interestingly enough, Jimmy Stanger, I don't know if you saw his shot. He hit it so far right on 17, it missed the water and ended up in someone's backyard, but wasn't able to play it. So that was pretty incredible. Go back and have a look at that one if you didn't see that. But unfortunately, Shane Lowry went on to make double again on 17. So double bogey at 16, double bogey at 17, and Nico Echeverria gets it done in pretty unlikely circumstances. But incredible final round he put together. Almost bogey free, I think it was. Was it bogey free?
I'd have to double check, but there was some weird stuff that happened, Lynchy. There was David Ford not having to use his putter for 3 holes in a row with varying sorts of chip-ins. There was the hole in 3 that Kyle Stanley rolled out after finding the water. I think that was on 16 as well. There were some strange things happening all around the Cognizant.
Yeah, it does. I mean, this is one of the events that kind of gets stuck in between the signature events. So you're often seeing a lot of guys that are looking to kind of jump up that order of merit and get themselves into those signature or elevated events. And it was a bogey-free 66 for Nico Echeverria, and he books himself a guaranteed couple of years on the US Tour. And with what we'll discuss this a little bit next week, but with the interesting stories that have come out, Brian Rollap, and some of the conversations around a PGA Tour A and a PGA Tour B style of golf format in the way that they fill their tournaments out. It's going to be very important for all of these guys, particularly guys like Nico, to get these wins and get themselves into that sort of top echelon of US Tour players. So Taylor Moore and Shane Lowry finishing tied for second, Austin Smotherman as well. And that was really it. I mean, Brooks Koepka, another notable, had his best round since returning to the PGA Tour. He finished in a tie for 9th with a 65 on Sunday. So a huge Sunday round for him. Rasmus Højgaard as well tied as another notable and worthwhile keeping an eye on. Nikolai and Rasmus, who both finished inside the top 10 this week.
And just a good luck to Andrea Pavon, too, a 2-time winner on the DP World Tour. A bit of a freak accident involving an elevator and, non-life-threatening injuries, but certainly a serious injury, an accident that happened to him, a pretty scary one as well. So we're wishing him and his family all the best. Well, that's around the grounds for another week, Lynchy, but it's a very big week this week. It's a big new, I suppose, tournament that's happening in New Zealand in collaboration between a couple of tours.
Yeah, it is. It's a new one in Auckland. It's at Royal Auckland, which is a spectacular golf club. James Betts, who we know really well, is the head pro there. So congratulations to Betsy and to all involved to get this event up and running. It's the ISPS Handa Japan Australasia Championship, which is a little bit of a mouthful, but huge purse and huge perks as well, because the winner of this, it's co-sanctioned with the JGTO, so the Japan Golf Tour. So the winner of this will get winner's status on that particular tour, which is a magnificent tour to play on. I was fortunate enough to play over there for a year as well. It's magnificent the way they run their events and the quality of player that they've got up there is incredible. So a star-studded lineup again this week, and this will have big ramifications. This is the last big event before the Order of Merit is really all sorted and done and dusted. We've got 2 more events after this one, but this is a huge prize purse, so big points up for grabs.
Yeah, the Heritage and the National to come. So, yeah, people running out of time, and these last 3 events are going to be must watch to see who claims those 3 spots on the Order of Merit. What kind of course is Royal Auckland, Lynchy? What does it require?
I haven't played there personally myself, but I've seen some photos and had a look around. It's a magnificent looking piece of land, very white sand bunkers, looks quite strategic off the tee, and looks like you're going to have to be quite precise with your iron play as well. It's beautiful undulating greens from what I can see from the videos and photos that I've looked at. Now, the qualifying positions have been taken, and I've noticed Kazuma Kobori's coming back for this one. So
Yeah.
I'd like his chances. He
Me
played
too.
magnificently last year. Obviously on the DP World Tour, finished inside the top 30 on the Order of Merit. So he's right up there. New Zealand Open champion Brendan Jones, who played well at the Vic Open this year. You've got a whole host of Aussies that are playing very good golf as well. It's hard to separate them, but I mean, if I keep throwing this name out, I feel like I'm going to get it to stick at some stage. But I know Curtis Luck didn't play well in that final round, but geez, he's been playing well. And I think that just the fact that he's been over there for a few weeks now and settled in, hopefully his body's feeling okay. I'm going to tip Curtis Luck again this week, but if we want a bit of a change up, I'm going to take Kazuma Kobori before you have the chance to take him off that board, mate. So they're my 2 picks this week.
Damn. Yeah, I was leaning towards him. I thought Matias Sanchez was really good for the first couple of rounds as well. So he had a pretty good tournament.
Yeah, he was right up there through a few rounds last week.
Yeah, he was. And Jake McLeod just continues. Travis Smythe had a really good tournament as well.
He's a great player.
In the New Zealand Open. So I think I'm going to go with what I know, and I'm going to throw Anthony Quayle. I think he's been here, there, and everywhere, but I think his best is absolutely good enough to take this out. And the other one that I thought played really well, just finished in the same spot, I think, as Declan O'Donovan, but Harrison Crowe, because he is good for, he had a win late last year, and I think he's going to have a win late this year as well. So I'll go with one of those 2. You took Kazuma from me, and I was pretty keen to go with him. And I reckon Ryan Peake will find some form again as well.
That'd be delightful. I mean, keep your eye on the JGTO players as well. Some great names.
Just don't know enough of them to tip them.
Yeah, no, there are some great names amongst them. Some really good players. Obviously, the young amateur shone very brightly last week. Yuki Mira, he was really, really good. He's playing again this week. And I'll throw up one other Japanese player to keep your eye on. Tomoyo Ikimura, who finished 3rd this week at the New Zealand Open as well, obviously in very, very good form. Be silly to not take good form into this following week. So he's playing again, and we'll be right up there at the pointy end, I would say.
Well, Lynchy, given we had a very good discussion about the state of golf currently and the surge in popularity, we might hold off on the scramble for next week, but have you got a confessional for us, a course language confessional? And these are the moments, if you're joining us for the first time, if you're a new member, these are the stories that you tell at the 19th. These are when you wouldn't believe what I did out there, or you wouldn't believe what happened to me out there, or these are the funniest things, the embarrassing things that you've either seen or done. You can dob yourself in, dob someone else in. It's a safe space. This is the course language confessional.
Yes, well, on that discussion that I've sort of tied all this in. You jogged my memory to this one, having mentioned a couple of things about alcohol and about father-sons, and it brought me back to 2011, where I didn't have my 2011. We were living in the US. I was having, in fact, look, it all bleeds together. It might have been 2010, might have been 2011. It was one of the 2. But I was at Bill Haas's house for a New Year's Eve party. So Bill was there, Jay was there. It was a big party. Yeah. Well, I was fortunate enough to live around the corner and spend a little bit of time with Bill, who was a really good player at that time. He was inside the top 15 in the world at that time. And I might have got a little bit carried away at Bill's house. We were there. He had a big ice sculpture that he kept telling everyone to come down and take shots off. And obviously it was a pretty popular thing to do. So I got a little ahead of my skis at his house, and truly New Year's Eve form and fashion. I could have been on the set of The Hangover the next day. The lack of memory and my poor recollection from that night. But I remember being at the party. I remember having a great time there. We went to an after party afterwards, and the confessional was that I spent the majority of the time at the after party. I don't know how the hell I didn't get kicked out with my head in a bin. Just looking at the contents of the bin for well over an hour. He absolutely did a number on me, Bill Haas, and I've never forgiven him for it since. He had a good laugh about it the following day, but I did not pull up well from that one, and all those shots that he was pouring down that stupid ice sculpture, I'll never forget it, and I haven't done a shot from an ice sculpture again. I'll tell you that much for free.
You got put away by Bill Haas's ice sculpture in a year that he won the FedEx Cup. So
yeah, that
right. That is quite amazing.
Yeah,
you got some great drinking and golf stories. Your first beer was out of the Stonehaven Cup, and now you're having a Christopher Mew at Bill Haas's joint. So that's a pretty good one, mate. I don't mind that.
I mean, these are incriminating, but as you said, safe space.
You really do throw yourself under the bus, but that's what it's all about, the Course Language Confessional.
Fun times. As we said, you're able to drink and play this game, so and that was the off-season at the time. So
I like that. I've got a little one after the great bag debate, whether or not I should get my name on the golf bag, which, by the way, the golf bags are ready, so we might do a big reveal in the coming weeks when we get those new
did you or did you not?
Bags.
I can't wait to find out.
You'll see in due course. A few people were starting to say that I should. I was standing on the green at Cheltenham the other day, and I met a guy who was doing a lesson. He said, I'm just doing a lesson here. And I said, nice to meet you. I'm Sam. It's my son, Charlie. We're a member here. And he said, nice to meet you. Good on you. And he walked away, and he turned around, and he just looked at me, and he went, did you get your name on the bag? And I said, he goes, yeah, I listen. I'm a Course Language member. It turns out that he's someone you know very well because he was at yours and Nico's wedding. James, who was doing some coaching with one of the juniors there, he was very keen to know what decision I'd made.
James Hartley, great man. If you are in that area, definitely go and have a chat to him. He's a very good coach and does a lot of great work with junior golf in this state and particularly in Melbourne. So well done, Jimmy Hartley. And glad that he's floating around Chelt. Another reason to pop down.
Absolutely. I have had so many people ask me that question. I was sitting there about to do the commentary and I was telling Sandy McKenzie about it. And she said, I think I might have heard about this. And she looked at me and said, you didn't do it, did you? Because she's another that said, not for you. Not for you.
Alex Benjamin was the man who gave me that black belt comment last week. I didn't know whether to shout him out, but I had to shout him out now. Look, I haven't heard any pros come to me yet and say that I was a little harsh on you yet. So we'll wait and see what happens. I cannot wait to see whether or not that stitching is there or not, mate.
We shall see. We shall see. Hey, it's been so much to get through. I feel like we only just scratched the surface. But one of the things we love to do on Course Language, it's one of the things that we spoke about a little earlier, is that golf is a game for everybody. The surge in popularity, it's just become the number one pastime for so many people. And footy players are primary amongst those, cricketers and all those athletes that we mentioned. A guy who I think, they might just be able to find out about this. The Duck Hook boys are going to test the waters here, which is really exciting. And we might even get them on to have a chat about what they're doing with the AFL players. But the guy I reckon is the best. He's certainly got the lowest handicap of all the AFL players, Lynchy. He's a proud Callaway ambassador as well. You were able to sit down and have a chat with him at the Callaway Quantum launch and to play a quick nine with Mitch Lewis, key forward for the Hawthorn Football Club.
All right, Mitchy Lewis, thanks for joining us on Course Language, mate. We're going to play a quick nine. First question we've got here is earliest golfing memory and your golfing influence. Who got you into the game, mate?
So I actually grew up on a golf course, so picked up my first club when I was 5 years old. I've got my old man to thank to get me into the game, so I think just jumping over the back fence and being on the golf course, that'd be number one.
What was the course?
Hidden Valley.
Hidden Valley.
Yeah,
Beauty.
Country Golf Club.
Current handicap. Now, we were just talking about this.
Yeah, I think I've gone out to 2.
On the slide.
On the slide.
Best handicap?
I've been down to +1.
+1.
So hopefully get down
Do
to...
you reckon you're the best player in the AFL? Best handicap in the AFL?
Probably not at the moment, to be honest. There might be a couple of guys below 2 here. But I still like to think I'm thereabouts.
You're good in a match play
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Lowest round or any hole-in-ones? And or both?
Yeah, so had a hole-in-one at my course I grew up in, Hidden Valley. I think I was 14, 164-metre par 3, hit a 4-iron.
Oh, that's a nice one.
One bounce straight in the hole.
Beauty.
Lowest round would be PK South, 3 under. 3 or 4 under.
On a
Yeah.
proper track
Yeah.
too there, mate. You beaut. What's in your bag at the moment, mate? We're here for, obviously, Callaway and Quantum launch.
Yeah, well, I've got the Callaway Elite at the moment, but hoping to replace that with
Change
the Quantum. So hearing a lot of great things. Going to hit it tonight, and yeah, I'm hoping to put it straight into the bag.
Home course.
Peninsula Kingswood.
Favourite course you've ever played?
Oh, I had a fair trip
spot.
over the off season.
Right.
Got to Scotland to play St Andrews, the old
Going
course.
over in May. How was it?
It was amazing. Yeah, windy, but that's how you want to play it.
Absolutely.
And then in the same trip, actually got over to Arizona and played Silverleaf.
Beauty.
So very different
Another good one.
experience, but 2
Yeah.
really good golf courses.
Brilliant. If you had to play one shot to save your life, what club are you pulling out of the bag?
Oh, that's a great question. At the moment, it's probably a 70-metre pitch, to be honest.
Hey, that's why the
Very
handicap's
specific, very specific,
low. Okay.
but
What club are you using for the
I've
70
got my
metre?
56.
Brilliant.
Play a little 3/4 one.
Perfect. Favourite golfer? Was there someone that you looked or watched and wanted to emulate?
Yeah, Adam Scott.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Easy question there. Pick 3 people. Now you might have already done this trip. Pick 3 people to go on the ultimate golf trip. And where are you going?
So you chuck Adam Scott in there. I'd probably take James Sicily because he does some things on the golf course that are quite humorous to watch.
Okay.
Talks himself down, so that might come up on the confessions.
Very good.
And the third would be Tiger Woods.
Brilliant. All right, and it brings us to the confessions here. So we've got the Course Language Confessional is where we tell a little story, like a 19th hole, something funny that happened on the golf course, something that you remember from the golf course.
And it's a safe space, is it?
It is a safe space, of course. We all want to laugh. I mean, look, I told a story about myself shitting my pants at Q school for 1 year. So this is a safe space, mate.
Oh, far out. The one that springs to mind, and I'm going to throw him under the bus, would be James
Beauty.
Sicily. I think it was at Huntingdale Golf Club.
His home track? Or
Used
was
to be.
his home track?
Used
Yeah.
to be. And the old pitching wedge, fat after a great drive. You do everything right. You put yourself in a good position to hit a good approach shot into the green, only to chunk it. And then the wedge got sent up into a tree. I think
Stuck up?
It was stuck up there. It was stuck 20, 25 metres up the tree. I'm not sure how he retrieved it, actually. I think they might have got a crane in for him.
Little wind blow down and then pick it up a couple of days
it's
later.
one of those things. As soon as you let go of the club, you're just like, what
Was it a
do,
helicopter or a one-arm sling?
helicopter. Yeah.
Mate.
No, he did it properly.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mitchie, thank you very much for
No
joining
worries,
us on
mate.
Course Language.
Thank
Bar.
you.
Cheers.
Hey, he's a good man, and my goodness, he hits a sweet golf ball, Lynchy.
He certainly does. Lovely fella. Looking forward to having a game with him soon. And it was nice of him to spend a couple of minutes with us at that Quantum launch and give us a piece of his mind. But as I said off the top, I think you'd be an excited man with him returning to the Hawks this year. A real shining light.
Have us a little course language confessional as well, which is nice of him. Big thanks to Mitch Lewis. Big thanks to Nick Colvin, who puts all this together and does a magnificent job. And a big thanks to our sponsors, Callaway. And don't forget, if you are in the market for any Travis Matthew clothes or the OGO bags, the golf bags, or the luggage and travel apparel, make sure you jump onto OGO and you can use the bonus code word Course Language 20 at the Travis Matthew Australian website. So make sure it's the .com.au Travis Matthew, Course Language 20, and at the OGO website, Course Language 20, that bonus code, get yourself 20% off thanks to our good friends at Callaway. Until next week, Lynchy, remember what happens on course, plays on Course Language. Hit us up if you've got any questions, you've got a confessional, you've got a topic for the scramble, courselanguagepod at Gmail, courselanguagepodcast@gmail.com or at courselanguagepod on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week.
Hit 'em well.